What up, y'all? Mrs. Z Nation, aka Savage Armor Joe Giraffe, coming at you with a deck profile. So today we're gonna be talking about. We're definitely gonna be talking about Gunningcaleo. I think that's how you actually say his name. So yeah, this guy. No, wait, not him. Yeah, that guy right there. Um, Gunningcaleo. Okay, that's how you say it. Gunningcaleo. So here's the reason why I'm doing it on, let's say this, or we're doing it on area. So originally what I was going to do was get some proxies and print them out and stuff like that. I was going to print out some proxies, cut them out and then put them in the card and then do it more live. I was going to do that, but it turned out after I got the pictures, it turned out they were in the wrong dimensions. And it's weird because it's like, I don't know the actual dimension size that we're supposed to be doing the cards in. And I should have done like a lot more research first before doing it. But I'm already like a week late with this profile. I was supposed to be doing this like a couple of days ago, like a week ago, and all this other stuff. Matter of fact, I'm also supposed to be doing, which I promise I will definitely be here like either on Friday or before Friday. But honestly, I have like a lot of video editing to do at the moment, so I might also use Car Fight Area for explaining like what all the cars do and what my honest opinion is. I'm definitely going to be skipping stuff like the critical or like the not that one, or like the vanillas, not that one. I know there's like another vanilla here, so yeah, that guy. I'm not really going to be doing him. Or where's the other grade 2? There's like another grade 2 vanilla 2 or him, because there's no point in talking about the vanillas. And then we also got like another PG, which is supposed to be like those no, that's not it. Where is it? There's like another PG that we're supposed to be getting too. Oh, that one. There we go. I do like the artwork though, I will admit that. But basically, like every clan is supposed to get in this PG where if you ride into it, because one of the worst things about riding into a grade 1 is you having to ride into your grade 1 PG. You draw a card and discard a card. I think the only clan that I feel like could use this PG without negging so much is Grand Blue. Like, I believe that Grand Blue could definitely do it because, there's no point in really using draw triggers in the Grand Blue where you can do like a 12 crit thing or anything else like that. Only because it's like, yeah, Grand Blue might need the draw power though, but at the same time, you're self-milling. So that would kind of hurt in the long run. However, it's weird because like Great Nature also self-mills, but you don't necessarily want to run the grade 1 PGs because then it'll take away from your grade 1 count and stuff like that. So it's weird. There might be a way to still use like the grade 1 PGs with Great Nature. I don't know. I want to say you'll do like a 3 draw trigger PGs in like 1, but we're not talking about those clans. We're talking about Main Colony, my most favorite clan, and whatnot. So I did like a poll and everybody wanted me to use like Gunningcaleo. So we're just gonna get this deck profile on its way, and of course I'm doing the standard format version first before I do the premium format version. I think the premium version format, I'm still trying to figure out the grade 3 lineup, but I have everything that I want to represent in the in the premium version of the deck. So without further ado, here we go. So of course it's starting out with grade 0s. Of course we're going to put that guy in there because that's going to be our starting Vanguard, so it's understandable. Next, as far as the trigger lineup goes, I want to do four heal triggers. Of course, that makes sense. Every deck should be running 4 heal triggers. For some reason, I forgot if I wanted to do it in standard or premium, but I wanted to do like one particular deck, and I want to say is more likely Great Nature, where I'm doing whenever they get their new critical and their new front trigger, either do like six fronts, six criticals, and four draw trigger PGs, or do like 8 and 8, like like 8 fronts and 8 criticals or whatnot. But every deck should be definitely running heals, and it's self-explanatory why you would run heals. Of course, it's gonna be running the critical trigger, so I do like the artwork to her. She looks amazing, so we're definitely putting her at 4. For some reason, I like Shelter Beetle more than I like Sharp Nail Scorpio. Like, no offense, Sharp Nail Scorpio, like, you look cool and all that, but at the same time, is like, I do like the artwork for Shelter Beetle. So we're gonna go for Shelter Beetle. And here's gonna be the weird part, and I know some people are probably going to disagree with me on this. Either we're going to do one or two things. We're going to do 2 draw trigger PGs and 2 critical triggers, or we're just going to knock out the draw PGs and run 12 crits. Now, here's the reason why I believe that both routes aren't so bad, because you shouldn't be running a playset of the draw trigger PGs. Here's the reason. We have decent enough draw power in the deck in order to justify the PGs. And I do remember seeing one of the Japanese players use 4 draw PGs when they were testing out the deck in the Vanguard game that's on the Switch. I think it's called Vanguard EX. Yeah, I remember watching the video on Vanguard EX. He was going against Bermuda Triangle, and he was using he was running 8 draws, if I remember correctly, and only 4 criticals with 4 heals. And I was like, nah, that seems too much overkill in my honest opinion. I understand that Mega Colony kind of sort of has like an issue in hand, but seeing that we're no longer going to be playing Antlion, yes, spoiler alert, we're not going to be playing Antlion. We don't necessarily need to worry about hand that much. Everything else comes, everything comes full circle, in my honest opinion. So, I feel like one reason is that we're definitely going to run 12 criticals. It makes sense. Secondly, and I'm starting to notice this a lot with Protect clans, you don't necessarily have to run the draw trigger PG, because you're running Protect 1, that's what your PGs are coming in for. So in my personal opinion, and this is just me, I don't know about everybody else, but this is kind of sort of me, I don't think we really need to have PGs in the deck, because that's what we have Protect 1 for. And again, it may be a bad idea, but at the same time, I do feel like that is an interesting idea. Now, if I were to run 2 draw trigger PGs, it will probably be because I want to have an interest of playing Protect 2. However, I kind of see that there's really no point of putting in, draw trigger. There's no point in me personally putting like draw trigger PGs to the thing. Simply for the fact of I don't know, like I said before, we're basically doing that. But if I wanted to run Protect 2, that will basically be the reason. But if I'm running Protect 2, what will be the point of running 2 PGs in a deck? That's where I was like, you know what? I think this deck can actually run 12 crits and do perfectly fine. I feel like it could do perfectly fine. I don't know. A lot of people probably say otherwise though, but I believe that it can run 12 criticals and do particularly fine, in my honest opinion. Deck testing and all that will have to tell. Unfortunately, in this video, because I'm going to be explaining a lot of my choices, I'm not going to do any matches. However, if people do want to see matches, I will more likely do it. I just gotta relearn car fight area. The last time I've done car fight area was before the format split happened. That's how long it's been since I've been in area. But let's see. Outside of that, for some reason I actually want to find a use for this particular car right here. Like, I feel like it has some type of potential though, but I don't know what deck it has potential in or what strategy I can use it in. But it seems like one of those cars where it looks like it'll be interesting to use, but there's just no room in a deck for anybody to use the card at all. I feel like if it didn't retire itself, I think it would have been a lot better. But anyway, let's move on to the grade 1. So overall, we have 17 grade 0s, which 4 of them are heal triggers, 12 of them are criticals, and 1 of them is our starter, of course. So why are we going to forget about that? So grade 1s. Now, I think out of all the grade 1s that we have in the original set, we're going to be using only 2. Originally, I wanted to use 3. I wanted to use Phantom Black. But I feel like that Phantom Black is a lot better in premium format instead of standard format. Now, I'm not saying that he's bad in standard format, but at the same time, I feel like that he's not like the #1 grade 1 you want to go to when it comes to, when it comes to premium, well, not premium format, when it comes to standard format. So the first card I'm going to be using is Butterfly Officer. We're putting her at 4. Because let's be real, we have a lot of counter blasting and a lot of soul blasting that we have to do. It will only make sense for Butterfly Officer to be at 4. Plus, I feel like that every build is going to be running Butterfly Officer at 4 because of this. I will feel like that the only guilty conscience I have of running Butterfly Officer is if I have to ride her into grade 1. I will hate that. That will be completely terrible. But we're running Butterfly Officer at 4. That's how we do it. The second card we're going to do is Machining Hornet. We're going to run Machining Hornet at 4. Now, the reason why I feel like we should be running maybe Machining at 3, actually. Now, here's the thing. We are running a heavy set of grade 3s again, which is understandable. Well, I guess that's going to be like a main thing for, Mega Colony in general, is just high heavy counts of grade 3. But let's be real, every single deck is running the heavy counts of grade 3s. So we're not completely out. I have yet to see any deck that will be like, hey, let's do that thing with Alt Mall where we have to run like a bunch of grade 2s and like a few more grade 1s. But we're going to sacrifice our grade 3 lineups. I've yet to run into that yet. So, for Machining Hornets, because we're not going to be running Machining Mantis, we have way too much counter blast to deal with, and we have way better grade 2s for the grade 2 lineup. So cutting Machining Mantis is going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. Now, in the machining build, I still might run Machining Mantis. I might not run them at 4, but I'm still going to be running Machining Mantis. So, we have that. Now, this might change from 4 to 3. I'm not too sure yet. But actually, let's just put it at 3. Let's put it at 3. Because here's the thing. We need room for 2 particular cards in the grade 1 lineup. The first card is Giant Salute Mutant Tower Horn, and the second card is Brawny Jerk. It's funny because like somebody translated it when it first came out, and it was called Brony Jack. And I was like, no way, no fucking way. But it is funny. We need this motherfucker in standard though. Like, I don't understand why Bushiroad has yet to put Stealth Multipede in English as an English promo. This card is actually better than it should be. And I feel like it would have, even though Mega Colony still would have been outranked in standard, this card in particular would have gave it a little bit more time in the standard format than it did, instead of just like fading away because, you know, oh, we're gonna give Roll Paladins, you know, we're gonna give Roll Paladins support 5 times this year, or anything else like that. Or, oh yeah, we're gonna give Bermuda Triangle support, but it's going to be so strong that it kills off the format almost completely. So, with that being said, the real question is, should we be running this at 3 and this at 4, or this at 4 and this at 3? I mean, or no, this at 3. Yeah, this at 3 and this at 4. You're basically using Tower Horn for getting out PG. I'm not getting out PGs. You're basically using it to filter out just in case you have way too many grade 3s into your hand, and you know you're beginning your turn. Because let's be real, one of the biggest threats in our matchup at the moment is Gold Paladins. You know, they're going to get the grade 3 faster than we do. And that means we have to do hella defending. So it will make sense that if we have a bunch of grade 3s in our hand, we need to filter them out. So Tower Horn will be the best bet for us to use. However, Brawny Jerk has a pretty decent ability. Let's see, when placed, Soul Blast 1 until the end of the turn. This power, no wait, I'm fucking, I don't know, why can't I read today? Okay, when placed, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets 6 gate power to the end of turn. Put the top of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 1 or greater, use Soul Charge 1. So you technically get that for free as long as you Soul Blast, you know, as long as your opponent drops a grade 1 or greater. However, it gets, when it boosts a unit that that attacks a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, discard a card from your hand. Your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and discard it. So, early game on, this is pretty decent, but at the same time, let's say they mill a grade 0, you don't really get the counter blast, the counter charge back. So at the end of the day, I kind of want to say run Brawny Jerk at 3. Now this could change, and if you're trying to make this deck, I would suggest that if you feel comfortable running Brawny Jack at 4 and running Tower Horn at 3, then do so. But for the sake of this deck profile, we're going to do Brawny Jack at 3, and we're going to do Tower Horn at 4. So let's see, so far we got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we got 14 grade 1s. That's good enough. Let's go on to the grade 2s. Now we have a lot of choices, and we're only going to be using one card from the first wave of support, and that is Bloody Hercules. Why? Because again, we're counter blasting hard, we're soul blasting hard, and this, no matter if it's on the turn that it came out or not, will give us a granted counter charge if it hits any unit. Now remember, this says any unit, not just Vanguard. So if I attack my opponent's rear guard and it dies, then I get the counter charge 1. It does not matter, it just has to hit, and then we're Gucci. Especially if we don't have no facial counter blast. But if we don't have a facial counter blast and it turns out that we missed the attack, yeah, we're screwed. So the real question is, how many copies should we run in the deck? Personally, I want to say 3 to 4 because, like I said before, this particular card hitting is crucial, so it's understandable. So let's see. For now, let's say 3, and let's look at all the other units that we're going to add to the deck. Now, I have 3 particular other units that I kind of want to add to the deck, or is potential candidates for this deck. So, the 3 candidates are, Agro. How the hell do you say this? Argo Billbug. Argo Billbug. I'm gonna just call it Argo Bug. Argo Bee Bug. Aggro Bug. We're just gonna call it Aggro Bug. I don't care anymore. We're just gonna call it Aggro Bug. The second one that we're gonna use is Hiding Kill Leaf, or Hiddling Kill the Leaf. Hiding Killer Leaf. My God, I cannot read today. Oh my God, I cannot read today. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I don't think my vision helped at all. The third one we're going to be using is Megalar Lancer. Megalar Lancer. That's I think that's how you say it. Megalar Lancer. So that's going to be our third choice. Now, let's look at all 3 of these units individually and see how we're going to do this. So, Aggro Bug says during the rearguard circle, during the battle that it attacked the Vanguard, if your opponent card was put into the from the deck into the drop zone this turn, when your opponent will call Guardians from his or her hand, he or she must call 2 or more units at the same time. Okay, so basically I'm noticing like a lot of trends in every clan. I think every clan eventually is going to get one of those cards where they have to guard more. They have to put more than one card into the Guardian Circle. It just puts guarding pressure into the onto your opponent, especially if she's hitting for very low. Like, let's say you're hitting for like base 13. I don't think you're really gonna be hitting for base 13, but like, let's say you're hitting for like under 20k, but you can still hit your opponent's Vanguard. They have to guard more than one card, even if, like, let's say, okay, let's say it's boosting another unit and it's like 16. Like, let's say Hornet is boosting her and it's 16. And let's say you're going to, like, no, even if you're not going against Protect Clan, if you're going against a Protect Clan or a XL Clan, it's going to be 17 when they guard with just a 5k. But if you're going against a Forest Clan, it's going to be 18. This basically forces it to where your opponent has to guard with more than 5k shield. So it's understandable how good this card can get, especially if, like, let's say your opponent got like a damage trigger and it turned out you got a critical trigger and put on the card. It will make sense that, like, let's say you do all that and all of a sudden they have to guard with more than what they had in the hand. Or let's say that they don't have any grade 2s to intercept. You know, that's become another possibility. So either this basically makes it to where your opponent has to either use intercepts in order to block it, or they have to use it to where they have to use more than one card in their hand and force them to overguard. So it's understandable that this card is worthy of being in the deck. The second one is Hiding Killer Leaf, where he has both on the van and the rearguard circle. When it attacks, counterblast 1 and soul blast 1. In this turn, this unit gets 10k power until the end of that battle. Put the top card of my opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 1 or greater, you draw a card. So even though we're wasting a Counter Blast 1 and a Soul Blast 1, we're going to kind of sort of get everything back because, let's be real, we're going to get a draw off of it. But even though it's only like if it's a grade 1 or greater, but if it's like a grade 0, then we're kind of shit out of luck. But we still get 10k power. So let's say this is my Vanguard on the second turn. We're definitely going to be getting them pluses, my boy, because we're still hitting for 10k with no boost. So it's going to be 19k without boost. Just in case I turn to do like the rush tactic and attack with my rear guard first, it hits. If my opponent gets like a damage trigger, this still gets us it still gets us somewhere. That's basically where I'm coming from. So I want to say this should definitely go at 4, but I'm not too sure. The next one is Megalar Lancer, and he's only a rear guard ability, and when he attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets 2k power until the end of that battle for each of your opponent's resting rear guards. Then put a rear guard into your soul, and your opponent cannot intercept this turn. Now, when you're using his other ability to put a unit into your soul, you're not really using it for the intercept prevention. You're using it to put grade 3s into the soul. So I want to say, as far as grade 2s go, that these two are your definite counter pieces. So the real question is, which one do I play at 4? I have a thing. How about we go back to the grade 1 section real quick? Let's run everything except for Butterfly Officer at 3. Because like I said before, we're also running a bunch of grade 3s. We're going to run we're going to run 9. We're going to run 9 grade 3s. So we definitely need room for the grade 2s, because it seems like the grade 2 lineup is going to be the most important counterpiece to this, because that's how everything is going to all come together. So the way I see it is that we're going to run Killer Leaf at 4. We're going to run Megalo Lancer at 3, and we're also going to run Aggro Bug at 3. So let me see. We have 43 cards. That's not good enough. Maybe we should. Let me see, because we're at 43 right now. So let me see. Let's take out a Bloody Hercules. So that'll be 42. So that means we'll have 8 grade 3s to work with. That's not good enough. It's weird. I want to say, I don't want to put Aggro Bug to 2. But at the same time, I kind of want to keep Bloody Hercules, because Bloody Hercules, in my honest opinion, is he's essential when it comes to countercharging. Because without him, the only other unit that we'll have in the deck that countercharges is Butterfly Officer. But at the same time, I don't know. You know what? Personally, I want to say let's put Aggro Bug at 2. Let's put Bloody Hercules at 3. Trust me, that happens a lot. But it's still weird. I don't want to cut anything more out of this particular lineup in general, because I don't know. However, you do kind of need Hiding Killer Leaf, and you kind of need Megalo Lancer in the deck at the same time, because Megalar Lancer helps out with your grade 3 thing, because we're definitely going to be running something that we have like a lot of grade 3 units that requires grade 3s to the soul, and we're not always going to be able to have grade 3s in the soul by constantly rewriting. So it will make sense that we need something besides Butterfly Officer to put stuff into the soul, and Megalar Lancer is basically like the unit to go to. However, out of all the units that can work on both the Vanguard and Rearguard Circle during our turn 2 plays is Hiding Killer Leaf and Bloody Hercules. This is weird. It wouldn't make sense for me to take out one it wouldn't make sense for me to take out one aggro bug and, you know, just run it at 1. It wouldn't make any sense. At the same time, running 2, let's see. So running 2 and 2 doesn't seem completely bad for this particular reason. It does equal 4, but we're not doing that particular math right now. You also got to remember that Bloody Hercules, in order to get the 6k boost, we have to Soul Blast. And like I said before, we're doing a consistent a lot of Soul Blasting into it. So in order to not completely prevent Soul Blasting, but to reduce the amount of Soul Blasting that we're going to be using, we're going to put Bloody Hercules at 2. This might change to 3, but I technically want to put him at 2. And her ability only goes off if your opponent puts a card from the deck to the drop zone, and we don't know at the moment if there's going to be a turn where we're not going to be able to do that. Thirdly, I feel like what justifies her being at 2 is she's an AK. Riding into her will be devastating. So again, that would make sense. She gets no power boost. All she's there for is for the guard restrict. I think you could technically call it a guard restrict. So with that being said, these two at 2 each will make sense. While Megalar Lancer, I'm gonna just call him Megalo Lancer. It sounds a lot easier. So Megalo Lancer is basically gonna be putting our grade 3s into the soul. It's gonna be putting all other units into the soul. So we'll have like some stuff to either soul blast, or it sets up for better turns. And then of course, Hiding Killer Leaf, it just deserves to be at 4. You know, I'm sorry for all the constant stuttering, but hear me out. He gains 10k, which is already a beast stick. He puts something from the top of my opponent's deck into the drop zone, so it will make sense to put him at 4. So, with that being said, let's look at our grade 3 lineup. Ant Lion used to be our win condition, but now we're just going to use Stagger 7 as our win condition. So this unit says, when it attacks a Vanguard, if all other units are at rest, counterblast 1, and until the end of that battle, this unit gets 20k power. Then you Soul Blast 2 grade 3s, not 1, 2 grade 3s, and your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand, discards it, and he or she can only call cards with that discarded grade from hand. Your opponent has 3 cards in hand, best believe you instantly getting that attack in. Even if you have, like, let's say, even if you do have something like, you know, like if he has like a built-in crit or anything like that. That's technically one of the major reasons why we run in, you know, multiple crits, is because we have enough units in the game to be like, hey, in order to guard all this, you have to, you know, you have to survive everything that's coming in your way. And there's no guarantee that you're going to do that. So this will make sense. However, we're going to play him at 2. because we don't want to ride into him, and all we need is 2. Our only hope is it doesn't end up in the drop zone. Of course, we're running for Gunningcaleo because we definitely need his effect. So what he does is, when placed, this unit power gets 5k plus 1 drive until the end of the turn. Then put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 10k in 1 drive until the end of the turn. So if everything goes well, you're going to be getting 15k plus 1 drive. So he will be a 27 on his own without any boosting whatsoever. Then he has the other ability while he's on the Vanguard Circle. Soul Blast 1 grade 3, put the top card in my opponent's deck into the drop zone, and your opponent cannot call cards call the same grade as that card from his or her hand until the end of the turn. So if they drop a grade 0, then they can't call any grade 0s, and if you're not going against Protect Clan, they can't PG at all. So they either going to have to figure out a way to defend everything or take up all that goodness that is called multiple crits. Just imagine, your opponent can't no guard, and you're doing 4 drive checks, and all 4 drive checks are critical triggers. GG. They gonna have to scoop it up unless they get all 4 heal triggers in all 4 to draw at the same time. Then that's probably when they might survive though. But nah, if this is late game, you already went through at least 1 or 2 of your heal triggers. There's no way you surviving that, son. GG. However, there's too much RNG with this. I will explain more of that when I do the full analysis and everything else like that, and what my honest opinion on it is everything. But this is what I was talking about in my last video when I said that there is way too much RNG factor into this particular version of the deck. You know, there's too much RNG factor because your opponent has to mill the right cards in order for you to win. I feel like when it comes to the RNG factor, in my honest opinion, and I'm going to explain this for people who has not played Smash, but for anybody who has played Smash, those players know that one of the biggest RNG characters in the game is Hero. Because Hero's RNG factor is so big that if he hits all the right stuff at the right time, then you instantly win the game. There's no ands or buts about it. However, there is another character in Smash that has an RNG factor, which is Mr. Game & Watch. His down B has the hammer, and you need to get a 9. However, getting a 9 is very hard. And if you hit anything that's not a 9, you more likely aren't going to get that kill in. You're not going to take that stock. I mean, you could hit a 9 and still not take a stock anyway, though. But if your opponent's at a high enough damage and you hit like a 9, you're definitely taking a stock. However, you also got to remember that even if you hit the 9, you're not always going to hit your opponent. So there will be times where you'll hit a 9 and your opponent won't get hit at all, or they so happens to counter it or anything else like that. You know, stuff like that will happen. So that's what I kind of feel like Mega Colony RNG is. I feel like it's Mr. Game & Watch's RNG, but we need it to be like Hero's RNG. And then last but not least, we do have Cyclomatooth. I don't know why nobody corrected me in my last video because I was calling it Cyclomatooth, but it's called Cyclomatooth, which I never knew. And this card has been there all this time. We're going to run him at 3 because we definitely need to ride into him. And we're going to, let's see, let's read his ability real quick. So, Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets power 10k into the end of the turn. Then put the top card of my opponent's deck into the drop zone, and if it's a grade 1 or greater, that unit gets critical +1 into the end of turn. So this has built-in crit pressure as long as your opponent gets like a grade 1 or greater. So that's actually pretty good. You can use it on both the Vanguard and the Rearguard circle, so it makes it 10 times better. And it also has a second ability when rolled upon, your opponent chooses a card from his or hand, discards it, and one of your Vanguards gives power 5k until the end of the turn for each of that card's grades. So you're basically forcing your opponent to ditch a grade 0 so your Vanguard doesn't get plus 5k from anything. However, there are probably going to be times where they're going to have to ditch like a grade 1 or a grade 2, so you get extra like 5k for each of those. So it's understandable that this card puts in a lot of pressure whenever you ride upon it. However, what's going to be funny is that in the standard version, I'm running Gunningcaleo at 4, and we're running Cyclomatooth, at 3. However, so far from what I'm guessing in the premium version, we're going to be running Cyclomatooth at 4 and Gunningcaleo at 3, because my thing is Gunningcaleo is pretty useless on he's pretty useless on the rearguard circle. He has no rearguard abilities. However, Cyclomatooth does, which means that you can do a lot more with Cyclomatooth's ability than you can with Gunningcaleo. Not to mention that his on-ride ability is amazing. So riding on top of him, pause, will actually get you a lot more before your stride phase even begins. So that's going to be our deck list for Gunningcaleo. I know that there's probably going to be more deck lists that's coming out within the time. Hopefully this actually works. So to redo everything, we have 12 critical, 4 heals, of course, because we can only run 4 heals, 1 starter. We have Brony Jack at 3. We have Tower Horn at 3, Machining Hornet at 3, and Butterfly Officer at 4. We're having Bloody Hercules at 2, Aggro Bug at 2, Hiding Killer Leaf at 4, and Megalar Lancer at 3. Finally, we have Stagger 7 at 2, Gunningcaleo at 4, and Cyclomatooth at 3. So that is the deck profile for standard format. Of course, we don't use Protect 2, we go straight up Protect 1. But like I said, if you want to go the route where you're running 10 criticals and 2 draw triggers, there's a possibility of running the Protect 2. But like I said before, what will be the point if you run Protect 2 where you're only going to have 2 PGs to use in that whole entire game? And then there's also the possibility of those 2 PGs going into the damage zone. So there will be kind of no point in doing that. Or you can just run the 8-4-4 formula. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like because you have the ability to run 12 criticals and you want to get as much aggro abilities as possible, I think running 12 crits isn't such a bad idea after all. So with that being said, what do you guys think of the deck list? Do you think that there should be something I should be changing around, or do you have any suggestions? Maybe somebody has a build where you can use Flat Ray, or a build where you can use Brat Laser. But I don't really see a point in using Brat Laser in this build. Maybe in Machining. Like, it might be a possible good card in Machining, but I highly doubt it. But with that being said, My name's Mrs. Zoo Nation, aka Savage Armor Jones Giraffe, signing out.